Benin, officially the Republic of Benin and formerly known as Dahomey, is a country in West Africa. It is bordered by Togo to the west, Nigeria to the east, Burkina Faso to the northwest, and Niger to the northeast. The majority of its population lives on the small southern coastline of the Bight of Benin, part of the Gulf of Guinea in the northernmost tropical portion of the Atlantic Ocean. The capital of Benin is Porto-Novo, but the seat of government is in Cotonou, the country's largest city and economic capital. Benin covers an area of 114,763 square kilometers, 44,310 square miles, and its population in 2018 was estimated to be approximately 11.49 million. Benin is a tropical nation, highly dependent on agriculture, and is a large exporter of cotton and palm oil. Substantial employment and income arise from subsistence farming. Benin, officially the Republic of Benin, is a country in West Africa. It was formerly known as Dahomey. It is bordered by Togo to the west, Nigeria to the east, Burkina Faso to the northwest, and Niger to the northeast. The majority of its population lives on the southern coastline of the Bight of Benin, part of the Gulf of Guinea in the northernmost tropical portion of the Atlantic Ocean. The capital is Porto-Novo, and the seat of government is in Cotonou, the most populous city and economic capital. Benin covers an area of 112,622 square kilometers, 43,484 square miles, and its population in 2021 was estimated to be approximately 13 million. It is a tropical country with an economy heavily dependent on agriculture and is an exporter of palm oil and cotton. From the 17th to the 19th century, political entities in the area included the Kingdom of Dahomey, the city-state of Porto-Novo, and other states to the north. This region was referred to as the Slave Coast of West Africa from the early 17th century due to the high number of people who were sold and trafficked during the Atlantic slave trade to the New World. France took over the territory in 1894, incorporating it into French West Africa as French Dahomey. In 1960, Dahomey gained full independence from France. As a sovereign state, Benin has had democratic governments, military coups, and military governments. A self-described Marxist, Leninist state called the People's Republic of Benin existed between 1975 and 1990. In 1991, it was replaced by the multi-party Republic of Benin. The official language of Benin is French, with indigenous languages such as Fon, Bariba, Yoruba, and Dendi also spoken. The largest religious group in Benin, as projected for 2020 by Pew Research Group based on 2010 statistics, is Christianity, 52.2%, followed by Islam, 24.6%, and African traditional religions, 17.9%. Benin is a member of the United Nations, the African Union, the Economic Community of West African States, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the South Atlantic Peace and Cooperation Zone, Francophonie, the Community of Sahel, Saharan States, the African Petroleum Producers Association and the Niger Basin Authority. It is bounded by Togo to the west, Burkina Faso and Niger to the north, Nigeria to the east, and the Bight of Benin to the south. The distance from the Niger River in the north to the Atlantic Ocean in the south is about 650 kilometers, 404 miles. Although the coastline measures 121 kilometers, 75 miles, the country measures about 325 kilometers, 202 miles at its widest point. 4 terrestrial ecoregions lie within Benin's borders: Eastern Guinean forests, Nigerian lowland forests, Guinean forest savanna mosaic, and West Sudanese savanna. It had a 2018 Forest Landscape Integrity Index mean score of 5.86/10, ranking it 93rd globally out of 172 countries. Benin shows some variation in elevation and can be divided into 4 areas from the south to the north, starting with the lower-lying, sandy, coastal plain, highest elevation 10 meters 32.8 feet, which is, at most, 10 kilometers 6.2 miles wide. It is marshy and dotted with lakes and lagoons communicating with the ocean. Behind the coast lies the Guinean forest savanna mosaic-covered plateaus of southern Benin, altitude between 20 and 200 m, 66 and 656 feet, which are split by valleys running north to south along the Kufo, Zo, and Aum rivers. This geography makes it vulnerable to climate change. With the majority of the country living near the coast in lower-lying areas, sea level rise could affect the economy and population. Northern areas will see additional regions become deserts. An area of flatter land dotted with rocky hills whose altitude reaches 400 meters 1,312 feet extends around Niki and Save. A range of mountains extends along the northwest border and into Togo, these are the Adasora. The highest point, Mont Sokboro, is at 658 meters 2,159 feet. Benin has fields, mangroves, and remnants of forests. In the rest of the country, the savanna is covered with thorny scrub and dotted with baobab trees. Some forests line the banks of rivers. In the north and the northwest of Benin, the reserve du Niger and Pendyari National Park has African bush elephants, lions, antelopes, hippopotamus, and monkeys. Pendyari National Park together with the bordering parks Arli and W National Park in Burkina Faso and Niger are among the strongholds of the lion in West Africa, with an estimated 246 to 466 lions. W. Arli Pendyari harbors the largest remaining lion population in West Africa. Historically, Benin has served as habitat for the endangered African wild dog, Lycaon pictus. This canid is thought to have been locally extinct. Annual rainfall in the coastal area averages 1,300 millimeters or about 51 inches. Benin has 2 rainy and 2 dry seasons per year. The principal rainy season is from April to late July, with a shorter, less intense rainy period from September to November. The main dry season is from December to April, with a cooler dry season from July to September. Temperatures and humidity are higher along the tropical coast. Variations in temperature increase when moving north through savanna and plateau toward the Sahel. A dry wind from the Sahara called the harmattan blows from December to March. When the grass dries up, other vegetation turns reddish-brown, and a veil of fine dust hangs over the country, causing the skies to be overcast. It is also the season when farmers burn brush in the fields. In Benin, forest cover is around 28% of the total land area, equivalent to 3,135,150 hectares, of forest in 2020, down from 4,835,150 hectares, in 1990. In 2020, naturally regenerating forests covered 3,112,150 hectares, and planted forests covered 23,000 hectares, The capital of Benin is Porto-Novo. The government is based in Cotonou, the country's largest city. Most people live on the small southern coastline on the Bight of Benin. Because Benin was colonized by France and is still close to it, the official language of Benin is French. Languages such as Fon and Yoruba are commonly spoken. The largest religious group in Benin is Roman Catholicism. This is followed closely by Islam, Vodun, and Protestantism. Benin is a member of the United Nations, the African Union, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, South Atlantic Peace and Cooperation Zone, La Francophonie, the Community of Sahel-Saharan States, the African Petroleum Producers Association and the Niger Basin Authority. From the 17th to the 19th century, Benin was ruled by the Kingdom of Dahomey. It was called the Slave Coast by white people from as early as the 17th century, because of the large number of slaves shipped from Porto-Novo, Cotonou, and other ports to European colonies in the Americas. After slavery was made illegal, France fought a war against Dahomey and took over the kingdom. They renamed it French Dahomey. In 1960, Dahomey gained official independence from France. From 1972 to 1990, a Marxist, Leninist state called the People's Republic of Benin existed. The current Republic of Benin was formed in 1991. Benin is a narrow country in West Africa. The country measures about 325 kilometers 202 miles at its widest point. It is between the equator and the Tropic of Cancer. Benin is bordered by Togo to the west, Burkina Faso and Niger to the north, Nigeria to the east, and the Bight of Benin to the south. The highest point is Mont Sokboro at 658 meters 2,159 feet. Reserved du Niger and Pendiari National Park attract tourists who want to see elephants, lions, antelopes, hippos, and monkeys. Historically, Benin has been a home for the endangered painted hunting dog, Lycaon pictus. Benin's climate is hot and humid. Yearly rainfall in the coastal area averages 1,300 millimeters or about 51 inches. Benin has 2 rainy and 2 dry seasons per year. The main rainy season is from April to late July, with a shorter, less strong rainy period from late September to November. The main dry season is from December to April, with a short, cooler dry season from late July to early September. In Cotonou, the average maximum temperature is 31 degrees Celsius, the minimum is 24 degrees Celsius. Located in West Africa, Benin has a long frontier with its eastern neighbor Nigeria, and is bordered by Togo to the west and Burkina Faso and Niger to the north. Many of Benin's estimated 10 million people live in the port city of Cotonou, on the Gulf of Guinea. Benin's population is 12.12 million people in 2020, and is projected to surpass 30 million people in 2030 and reach 46.83 million people by 2099, more than tripling its current population. Benin's population is currently growing at a rate of 2.73% a year and 52.14% is rural. Benin has a youthful age structure. Almost 65% of the population is under the age of 25. The pace of population growth is a big challenge. Benin is one of the poorest countries in the world, and its 2020 Human Development Index of 0.520 ranks it 163th of 189 countries. International support, and economic and structural reforms have helped Benin achieve growth in gross domestic product of 4 to 5% a year over the past 2 decades. Despite a recent downward trend, the poverty rate remains high, at 56.4%, with a poverty line of $1.90 a day in purchasing power parity. Poverty is lower among female-headed households, yet women are more vulnerable and lack economic opportunities. Agriculture generates around 70% of employment and 30% of GDP, but is dependent on rainfall and vulnerable to climate change. An estimated 550,000 small holdings averaging 1.7 hectares dominate subsistence farming of cereals and tubers. A chronic lack of jobs in rural areas spurs youths to migrate to urban areas. Market gardening is a major direct and indirect source of jobs for young people and women in towns, their environs, and rural areas, and has scope for development to meet a shortage of vegetables throughout the sub-region. About 48% of the people of Benin live in urban areas, which are concentrated in the south. Agriculture plays an important role in Benin's economy, generating 70% of employment and nearly 25% of GDP. Cotton is the primary export commodity, providing nearly 40% of Benin's GDP and roughly 80% of official export receipts. Thank you for watching this video.